basically what we're going to be doing in this thing is hooking everything up. So if you guys remember, it's not too long ago when Robert was presenting, when he posted a story, what was the name of the person who posted it? It was meant to be anonymous, but I think it says anon my mouse. I think it was a mistype. But regardless, we can't remember what right now, like what a user is. We don't even have a model for it in our database. We just have a story and a comment. So clearly something is wrong. We need some idea of storing a user. And as just like a warm-up for you guys, that's what we're going to do first. So before we do that, actually, let's just set up some stuff. So I described where we're at. Basically, our app is functional to the point where we can post stories and post comments. But we don't have an idea of what a user is, which clearly is important for a social media website. And definitely what's also important is if you go to your profile page, something is wrong, like it doesn't remember what your last post was or anything like that. So let's fix that too. So I briefly mentioned to you guys, we're going to be using some tools for this. We're going to be using something called Catbook.js, which have a really fancy logo. And we're also going to be using Facebook Authentication. The reason why we're using Facebook's help is because, as I said before, security is really hard. And Facebook has a lot more resources than almost anyone else. And they have really good security on their end. So what Passport does is it lets Facebook handle all your passwords, and everything like that. So Facebook, it just logs into Facebook. Facebook returns to you, oh, this person's name is Aaron. And then we can like post as Aaron or something like that. So that's kind of a high level of why we're using Passport and we're using Facebook. I highly, highly recommend in your applications you also use Facebook Authentication. If you do not want to use it, you can use like Twitter Authentication, Google Authentication. All will have similar steps roughly to what I'm doing now. There'll be a few differences, but we'll worry about that later. The one thing that we used to do is have local authentication, which means you store the passwords on your own computer. We're no longer really going to offer that, though we'll help in office hours. It's just really too complicated to go over, and in the end, it's just bad practice. So who here, can I get a raise of hands? Who has seen something like this before? Like, this app is requesting your permission to log in. Alright, great, almost everyone. Can someone raise hands if they do not have Facebook?
Just kidding.
Alright, good. Everyone has Facebook, it's going to make this easy to do. If you do not have Facebook, I have a workaround for you, but everyone has it, that's great. So, this is what happens when you try to log into an application through Facebook. Facebook, on its own end, makes sure that it's doing the right thing by allowing it to connect with an application. So at one point during our thing, we're going to have to set up something on Facebook's end to connect to our application. So this looks confusing. It's multiple steps. It has basically how Passport works. And this is extremely high level, and I'm not going to go into much details. But basically, our end goal is the start point is we're going to have a little login button on our website. And we're going to build it together. But we're going to create a login button. And you can see the little mouse over there. What happens when you click login? Well, what we're going to do is make it send a GET request to a specific and very specific URL, /auth/Facebook. Passport will recognize /auth/Facebook, and instantly magic begins. And basically, Passport will take your hand and carry you all the way to Facebook's doorstep. Once you're at Facebook's doorstep, remember that screen I showed you guys earlier that's like, do you have permissions to continue? Now it's Facebook's turn to make sure that it's doing the right thing. And it's going to make sure that the user is properly authenticated, and it will then, after you click continue, send its details back over your way. The way it does that is it makes a call. I'm not sure if it's on Facebook's end or how it's exactly doing this, but I know that another call happens, and it's a GET request to /auth/Facebook/callback. And this happens on the way back. And what it does is it's also another Passport thing. And Passport will see, wow, there's been a call to /auth/Facebook/callback. it means that Facebook succeeded and we're all good to go with authentication. And it will do some final steps, and in the end, it will store your user in the database. And as you can see over here, in MLab, there's like a little user, which is our goal, is having a user. So, that is great. So, as you can see, that is just very high level what is happening. You log in, you make a GET request to that URL, Passport takes your hand to Facebook, Facebook makes sure you're all good, sends another GET request to /auth/Facebook/callback, and Passport brings your hand back to the app and then creates a user in your database. That is the high level of what we're doing, and let's go on. Let's start. So, if everyone can go to go.6148.io/workshop4, and basically, after you are at that point, the solution to what I want you guys to do is on the bottom because it really isn't important, but it's just required for me to get across concept. Oh, is the link broken?
It says like there's no root on the client.
Oh, can somebody quickly just on the URL shortener link to it? I don't know why the URL disappeared.
Which one is this?
Workshop 4.
Okay, give me a second.
But also, one thing you guys can do if you just want a temporary workaround, go to workshop 3, like go.6148.io/workshop3, and at the very end of your URL, once you go there, just change that.
I just said it.
But workshop 4, I think.
I just fixed the
It's
link.
all good.
Is it right now?
Comes up for people after you have gone to this user.js file, after you've plugged it. It should be empty. Also, if you guys previously cloned workshop 4 just by accident, you have to type the command git space pull, because I made some changes to it like 5 minutes ago. Thumbs up when you guys are there. Good, good? Alright. So, basically, Robert went over what a model was. Model is just a way to set up in your database what a user should be. So, let's do that right now. In user.js, let's fill out what the model for a user should be. And if you guys remember, when you went on the profile page, there was like a last post that you made. So clearly, we want to remember that last post that somebody's made. We want to remember what somebody's name is. That's why we have that name over there. Underscore it. So we have the name. Now we have something called the FBID. And this might seem confusing to you guys. Why do we need another form of ID? Because remember, the way that this database works with Mongoose is that everything already has like an underscore ID. Why do we need a Facebook ID? It's because the thing is after you authenticate, Facebook will just throw at you a Facebook ID. It won't know what your underscore ID is or anything. So we need some way of tying that Facebook connection to a specific user in our database. So our underscore ID will be unique, and the Facebook ID will also be unique. And it's just, they're both kind of tied to each other. Except one is for our purposes, and the other is for Facebook's purposes. I'll go over exactly why we need it more code-wise later, but just make sure you have this in your model. So basically, that's how models.js should look for a user. You guys are typing it right now. It's not super necessary. We're just very quickly going to check out to the next step, which is going to have this set up. I just kind of want to go over what the structure should be. Okay. So now is when this stuff gets interesting. So can everyone get reset -- hard and get checkout step 1. Also, one more point for you guys. I recommend having a little text file side by side somewhere in your computer that has your Mongo Lab URI with like your username and your password already set up. because every time, I couldn't do this on my end, every time you guys check out to a new branch, you guys will have to re-enter in that MongoLab URI in db.js. So it's going to be really annoying to navigate to mongolab.com, copy and paste that URL, change DB user, change DB password. It's a lot easier if you have the correct URI already set up and on a separate file on your computer that you just can copy and paste it. So can I get another thumbs up when you guys are on step 1? Not too many people. Waiting for a few more. Okay, we've got a decent number of people. Is there any reason why people are not on step 1 right now? Just don't see everyone's on it. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead. It's not too hard. That's what you have to type. And I'm going to do it on my end as well. Move this to the right. So I'm going to git reset -- hard. Git checkout step 1. Great. So I'm on step 1. Now I'm going to sit down because this stuff gets sad. Okay. Everyone is good? Open up a code editor on step 1, and as you can see in user.js, everything is all filled out for you. So that's good. Now, as I say on here, now for a leap of faith. Basically, this is a test of how much you guys trust me, because this is going to be copying and pasting up the wazoo. All right. Let's go into passport.js. It's not actually copy and pasting because I wrote the code for it, but understanding what it's doing is another ballpark entirely. Okay, so understanding passport.js. Does everyone have passport.js? Nod of heads? All right, just going ahead. So, what is passport.js doing in the beginning? So, at the top over here, it's requiring a bunch of things. So, basically it requires an import, so it's importing passport, and there's even another module that will help it do passport with Facebook, so you have to do both. Now, if you want to do accesses to our model, you need to import it, so this is us importing the user model. And now comes the sad stuff. So, passport.use, magic. So there's going to be a lot of things which I just say is magic. It just means that it does this work behind the scenes. I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing it. So passport.use is a function that Passport has. You're specifying you want to do something with Facebook. And in order to do something with Facebook, Facebook is going to have to provide you an ID and a secret to connect to your Facebook application. We'll work on that later. This callback URL is something I mentioned to you guys earlier. All is good. And now this right here is a callback function that happens after it is successful. So it gives you some access token. Not really too sure what the access token is. Some refresh token. Again, no clue. But what's key is it gives you this profile. This is your Facebook profile object that Facebook is giving back to you. So, what do we want to do? I'm going to zoom this, make this guy a little bit smaller like this. This is not as important right now because I'm just going to be walking through. The slides hopefully are online such that other people will follow along if they want to, but I'm honestly not the biggest fan of just reading through slides. So, right here is what we're going to do first. And basically we have the profile and we want to look up in our database for the profile ID. And basically, if you guys remember, this is the Facebook ID that we mentioned earlier. Facebook is just going to give us one form of ID. So we need to tie that to the user in our database. So we're going to make sure we look up in our database by the Facebook ID and this is the Facebook's profile ID that they're giving us. All right, we're going to do a lookup. So we do a lookup, and right after this is another callback function after the lookup is successful, or it fails. If it fails, right here, if there's an error, then end. That's what done does. Okay? Finishes. No good. If there is no user in the database, because remember how this stuff works. If you have a callback function from a database and it can't find anything, user will be undefined. So basically this is just a JavaScript trick for making sure that if there's no user defined, then you're going to go into here. And as you can see, it creates a new user. A new user makes a profile display name, profile.id, and we set this to their name and Facebook ID. Remember, we didn't set anything here for their last post, because we don't know anything about your last post. You're just logging into Facebook. You haven't even made a post yet. So it's fine if we do this, and last post will just be undefined in our database. Okay, we make the user, and we want to save the user. So we're going to save it into our database. Okay, that is all good. Now, there's an else right here. Basically, this is for if user. So basically, all the code that runs in here happens if the user doesn't exist. But say you do a lookup and you do find a user. That's what happens in this else. You're done. It's over. Basically, we found the user, we're all good. This done function is freaking magic, and Passport does crazy things in the background. But Passport is happy, and we're all done. Okay? There are two functions down here. Serialize user and deserialize user. It's been 2.5 years, and I don't know what the hell they do. So, basically, I just have them in my file. I recommend you guys have it in your file, because it probably won't work without them. But really, I don't know what it does. I'm sorry, this is kind of a prerequisite of how Passport works. There's a lot of shit that you just have to put in there. Alright, next. We've understood Passport.js. We've understood it well enough to use it. Alright. Let's make a Facebook account. Not a Facebook account. Facebook developer account. So everyone navigate to this page right here. developers.facebook.com/apps. There should be an option to create a new application. And let's fill in the information and create an app ID. By the way, would you guys find this helpful if I went to this link and did this along with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that. So,
You already did it for your own account, right?
I'm going to have to do it another way. It's fine.
You can open Incognito and do it for Sunday's account or something if you want.
Alright, so I'm here. If you guys want the slides at any point, because now it's on my screen and making it 2 half screens is not going to be big enough. So I'm just going to do everything here. If I go too fast for anyone, literally anyone, raise your hand and I will go slower, because we all should be on the same page. So let's go add a new app.
Before you do that, you have to first register to be a Facebook developer.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the process of doing that?
It's just register.
Alright, click register. Sorry, I've already registered and it's probably so I don't see that screen anymore. Can anyone give me a thumbs up when they're at this screen right here? Or raise your hand when you're at the screen. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Just raise your hand when you guys are at this page. getting a decent number of hands up. Is anyone still working and they want to catch up? Raise your hand. Okay. I want to make sure to tell everyone. Keep your hands up if you're still working. Don't let me start without you. Just keep it up high. Oh, it's actually hard to type.
Leave your hands down. If anyone has questions or needs help, raise your hand.
Too many raising hands. I think everyone's just typing, so raising your hand stops you from being able to type. Wait for another minute, and then I'll check in with you guys. Okay, I'll check in. Is anyone still working and who needs time?
Or needs help.
Okay, I don't see any hands, so I'm going to go ahead. Alright, click add a new app. Explaining. Aaron is awesome. Contact email, asipser@mit.edu. By the way, guys, I didn't know this when I made my first app a swear name that I had to delete later. If anyone authenticates, they're going to see the display name. So, make it something that you actually care about when you make this app legit, because likely you're going to be using the same app that you use here. So, make it something somewhat legit, like maybe your team name or something like that. Okay, is anyone still working? Alright, move ahead. So create app ID. All this stupid stuff. G-M-J-M-Y. Okay, you get to this page. So you do a whole bunch of things. You guys might think you want like account kit or something like that. No, you just do Facebook login. Okay, Facebook login. Now I'm going to click setup. Alright, this right now is the biggest bait in the world, and it took me 2 hours yesterday to figure out what to do. So, when you're at this page, don't do anything. Don't click. Alright, raise your hands when you guys are at this page. Alright, a really good amount of you, so I'm going to go ahead. If I'm going too fast and you guys are still working to catch up, go to the slides. The guide is pretty comprehensive there. So, you might think, great, I'm making a website. I'm going to click web. No. That's not what you do. You don't even click other. You freaking have to click the settings thing right down here. I was so triggered. Alright, now comes step number 2 of being really annoyed. Valid OAuth redirect URI. I don't know what this is or why you need it, but if you go, just briefly, what you're going to do at some point, you're going to go to your dashboard, and you're going to have a app ID and an app secret. Now, if you guys remember, in passport.js, there were 2 things that said fill out later. That's where this stuff goes. Well, when you authenticate and you do not have you run into this bug. Let's find that bug. Alright, right here. You'll get something that looks like this if you try to authenticate with Facebook. This came up to me yesterday at 3 a.m. I was annoyed because I couldn't remember what I did to make it work. So 2 hours later, I remembered. And //localhost:3000. Click enter. And then you need to click save changes separately. Now what this will do is it will turn this strict mode for redirect URIs off, which is what was screwing me over. But it gets worse. If you type localhost 3000 and you click enter and you save changes, Facebook very kindly puts an HTTPS at the end. Your website won't work with HTTPS because you don't have that set up. So you still get the same error with no more helpful feedback. So you need to do HTTP://localhost:3000 and not HTTPS. Save changes. Okay. Is everyone at this point? I'm sorry, I'm ranting from yesterday night. It was so bad. I'm getting out like angst from like 3 a.m. Is everyone all good? Raise your hand if you've done this. Alright, very good. Let's go to dashboard. Now let's get this baby hooked up. So go to app ID, copy it, go into your passport.js file, and client ID. What the hell did I do? Passport.js. This client ID right here, let's select it, paste in our new ID. Client secret. I'm going to reveal to you my deepest, darkest secret. It's ACD19. Alright.
This is going on YouTube, by the way.
Great. The world will know. Alright. So, this is my ID. This is my secret. You guys will have your own ID, and you'll have your own secret. You can use mine, but actually no, it will break if you use mine. Use yours. There's a separate thing that took me another 2 hours to figure out how to make it so other people can use other people's secrets. That will happen next week. Everyone should have their own ID and their own secret. Okay? So I'm going to just leave it for this so I can run this page. And passport.js is set. We're all good. Does everyone raise your hand if you're working on getting this set up still? Okay, I want to wait for a few more hands to go down. I'm going to wait. I don't have that much time, so I'm going to wait for another minute. If you guys can't get it done then, just raise your hands and staff members will get to you. Guys, just ignore what's going on my screen right now. I'm just trying to get to the same page as you guys. I needed this enter in my own Mongo lab URI. I have the whole line here. Great. Alright, I'm going to move on ahead. Alright, if you guys have something, don't type this yet. if you have something in your db.js and you have something in, oh wait, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do one thing last. I skipped a step when trying to show you guys the error. So we have a few more things we have to go over. My bad. Let's go into app.js. Okay. Alright. We're at app.js. What is different? Let's find out. So, we have this guy over here. We now are importing our passport file we created. It's a local dependency because it's a file that we have on our own computer. Or technically modules are too, but it's one that we created. Then what else? Now there's another line that you guys are going to need in your apps. I think step 1 already has this guy set up for you, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it will say app.use passport.initialize. Now instead of one function call that's magical, they don't know what it's doing, we now are graced with 2 function calls that we don't know what they're doing. Both app.use, I still don't know, and passport.initialize also does magic. So nested magic, it's great. You don't really have to understand what it does, but you're going to need it to make sure it works. Now, did you guys remember in the very beginning of lecture today, or for my lecture, we had like /auth/Facebook and /auth/Facebook/callback? You now need to kind of link up passport to those reps. So app.get for Facebook is going to call this special passport.authenticate function, and app.get the get request for auth Facebook callback is going to do more passport authentication stuff. It's really not worth putting too much effort to understand what this does. Like, at some fundamental level, like, why the hell is this using the same function over here? Like, I don't know, but just, you're gonna need it. So that's why I just put it for there, you guys. It's not worth you guys typing it yourself. Okay, everyone all good? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. Let's go into adding a login button. Fun stuff. So, let's do it. Let's everyone go to navbar.js. Okay? This is really small, but I'm going to just go to it on my own computer. Navbar.js. So this looks familiar. We did this in freaking workshop 0. This is old stuff. What do we want to do with it? Well, if you guys remember, on your own apps right now, when you log in, it just says home and profile. There's no really login button. So we now need to link up the front end of the website, the client-side JavaScript, HTML, and CSS,